Bracket racing isn't just what we do, it's who we are. It's how we identify ourselves.
What does bracket racing mean to me? It's my life. It's where my people are. My idols, my family, my friends.
Bracket racing is life. Bracket life. Hello and welcome back to the Bracket Life broadcast, episode 80 in the house here. Brandon, as always, joined my good friend Andrew Stark. Andrew, how's it going tonight?
We're doing well. Had a big adventure down to Toronto and back and survived that whole ordeal, so I can't complain.
It's a stressful time. Made it to the big city.
Yeah, the big smoke. Is that what it's called? I'm not even sure if that's what it's called. I'm just pulling stuff out of the air. No pun intended.
Sounds good. That's it. So before we do get, Jesus, I've been doing a lot of talking today. Before we do get started with episode 80 tonight, I want to thank our episode sponsor. Tonight is presented by Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service, located in Jasper, Ontario, Canada. I can see it, as always, right across the way. Race shop lights are still on. I think Mike's hanging out. Mike's getting ready for the year. Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service can not only fix all light and heavy-duty vehicles, but we are also a dealer for FTI performance parts, transmissions, converters, Jones transmission pumps, K&R Performance Engineering products, Portree, and Race Star wheels. Visit the website at oglevysauto.com for more information. If you're tuning in live, be sure to let us know that you're hanging around. Let us know what's going on, where you're from, any comments, questions throughout the show. We love seeing the comments pop up and, some engaging conversation every once in a while,
Yep. Some great comments to go off of and pull up on the screen, roll with, keep the conversation rolling.
Exactly. Andrew, we'll dive in the Canadian countdown before we do get into the main event of the evening. So I will start it off. Some big news, right? We got some pretty good results here.
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona. We had some representation down there. TNT Motorsports, Travis Ringeth down there Sunday night. It was Sunday night. Sunday night.
Yep.
Travis down in the final for 10K. Rolls around there, was running hot all day. Ends up getting behind 1,000. Finished in the final for the loss, but had a great day, right? So I was talking to Travis after that. He wasn't sure he was going to go to Vegas for the Fling Million.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now he will.
Look, cash in his pocket, right?
That's it.
All it takes sometimes.
Exactly. There was some more NHRA racing in Arizona. How you run us through that, Andrew?
Absolutely. So we'll start off on the big show side. Spencer Hyde, our I say new favorite funny car in Canada, but lots of favorite funny cars. But our guy attempted to make his first start. Didn't have a lot of luck in Gainesville. Unfortunately, the cones on the Friday night were the end of his weekend as Saturday got rained out there. Made all the shots here, and just a tricky track that the head team struggled with. He unfortunately in the last session got bumped to end up at number 17. We had another Canadian making a debut in the professional ranks, Matt Latino making his Pro Stock debut. So his father has been wheeling Pro Stock cars fairly successfully. Eric went a few rounds actually at Arizona. But Matt was making his debut, unfortunately, pretty stout field. Pro Stock put on a really good show there. They had 21 cars going for 16 spots. Matt came up short on that end, but congrats to him. Pro Modified. Wild little deal there. So Gainesville, they just canceled the Pro Mods outright and moved them all to Arizona. So Arizona was a twofer. Qualifying all 4 rounds with the set Gainesville field was one race, and qualifying set up the next race, which was the Sunday edition for the Arizona. We had 2 Canadians down there, Justin Bond and Jordan Lasik. Justin went a couple rounds in the Gainesville Gator Nationals race. Jordan went out in round 1 of that, and then in the Arizona race, Justin qualified 14th, struggled with making laps there. Again, tricky track. went out in round one. Jordan ended up taking down Derek Menholt and Khalid Al-Balushi, who is a teammate with the Al Anabi team. I believe Al Anabi is now the new sponsor for Jordan, Justin, and Khalid. And then ends up in the semis, goes down to eventual champion Mike Stavrinos. Side note, Mike Stavrinos doubles up, wins both Gainesville on Saturday and then Arizona on Sunday, runs Tricky Ricky Smith in both final rounds. So Saturday night, it was Mike Stavrinos and Ricky Smith, who in that final round, because it was a qualifying session, wasn't actually in the Arizona field yet. So he's in the final round of Gainesville, which are all qualifying runs. He has to not only try to win the final, but run fast enough to bump into the field. Does run fast enough to bump in, unfortunately falls short to Mike, and then Sunday, a repeat and a chance to make it happen again, and Mike comes up strong. So here's your points leader going into the next race. Top dragster, Aaron Steinke from Dunmore, Alberta, Donna Patterson, both from Manitoba, sorry. Both got down to 8 cars in top dragster. Aaron's got the neat TNT dragster with a 900 plus cubic inch Musi nitrous power plant.
I believe that's 959.
959. I couldn't remember if it was 936 for some reason was in my head or 959. Regardless, a gigantic motor in a top dragster. Wild piece as a nitrous aficionado as I am. So that is the Arizona Nationals recap. General NHRA news. This was pretty cool. McKenna Bold from Alberta was named the newest full-time driver for the Randy Meyer Top Alcohol dragster team in 2025. Randy Meyer Racing, you may be familiar with. They run a plethora of injected nitro cars. Julie Natas and Rachel Myers, both world champions with Randy Meyer. They're also fielding a injected nitro car in the Top Alcohol funny car ranks. So lots of interesting things there. But McKenna will be getting a full-time ride and a championship caliber ride at that. So really exciting to follow her as her career starts in that world.
Yeah. Big changes for McKenna. Good for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So we will roll now. That's about it. We had some more race news, I guess. Some big flyers getting posted. I know Radbrook Raceway, the Big Bucks event, 25 grand to win each day. That's going to be cool. I've said it before. I say it every year since I did go to Edmonton to race. Nobody wants me in a car, man, or anybody's got a car hanging around. I'm a friendly guy. I have a lot of fun when we go to the racetrack. Just let me know. I'll drive anything. I'm not picky.
1-800 bracket life, and I'll be on a plane on the way out. Right, like
easy number to remember. Yeah. So we'll dive into the main event tonight. Very excited for this. This will be the second World Series of Pro Mod champion we will have on the Bracket Life broadcast. Without further ado, your 2025 World Series of Pro Mod winner, Steve King. Steve, welcome to the show.
How you doing, guys?
Excellent. Awesome for you to take the time to come hang out with us for a little bit on a Tuesday evening.
Heck yeah. We're still excited. We're still riding high.
Yeah, that's it, man. Got to roll through that. Got to keep the energy up, right? Roll that right into the summertime.
Right into the regular season. So
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny. It feels like a preseason, but with the win that you've had, it's really feels like a championship year, right? And the season hasn't really started, so it's a unique little deal, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's crazy, and hopefully we can just ride this momentum right into the season. And that obviously Wes's race is probably the biggest race of the year, but it's over and done, and we're getting ready to head into the season. So we got to try to carry it forward.
It's like having the Super Bowl that leads into the World Series. It's a little bit backwards, but it just feels good nonetheless. So
it's great. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So why don't we kick things off? Maybe you can start off with just a little bit about yourself. Let's introduce yourself to the world, where you got into racing, kind of coming through the ranks, how you kind of led up to getting into pro modified racing, which is a heck of a ride.
Yeah, it is. And it's crazy. We start like everyone else. We come through school and hot rod magazines. Sitting in English class, looking. I really did. I was sitting in English class with a hot rod, with a classmate of mine and a real good friend of mine, and we're sitting there with a hot rod magazine right in our English books and dreaming of stuff like that's going on right now. And as we get out of school, we start bracket racing. That's pretty much where we all start at there or street racing. We did a little street racing, build a hot rod, obviously put a little bigger motor in it. We always learning, getting started. And I think that's where most people really get going. And then we take it to the bracket racing classes. And the whole time we're bracket racing, I mean, I keep looking at these big blower motors sticking out of these cars. It's coming to the racetrack. And, and I'm like, I want to do that. And I just kept going along. And finally, I got to the point where I purchased a car to run NMCA street car racing because I was a big street car racer.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want to go race the NMCA guys to try to. Pro Street was the class then, I guess you could say. Obviously turned into Pro Modified eventually. So I purchased a car. Then that big Hemi and all that stuff. I had no idea. I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke. I had no idea what I was doing, but I called Brad Anderson. He answered the phone, and I purchased the motor and everything I needed, and it came in. And I had a lot of pretty aluminum stuff in these boxes, and I had no idea what to do with all that stuff. I'm being honest. I had no idea. So my local chassis guy, he's like, "What are you going to do with this thing?" It was a Viper. It was a Viper Pro Modified style car, but a Viper that's painted like a snake, so kind of cool to the fans.
So like a Billy Harper type of, yeah.
Very similar, purple with green. It looked just like it was just cool. The fans really loved it in a street car deal. But my local chassis guy dropped it all. I said, "Hey man, this thing's got to weigh 3,000 pounds. I need a pair of mufflers on this thing, and I'm putting this Hemi in there." And he's like, "Oh shit, this is." And so he called Jeff Miller, who was at the time multiple time pro street champ. And I'm in this little 26-foot trailer trying to put a Brad Anderson Hemi together, not knowing what I'm doing. And he rolls up and leans in the door. And for real, he says, "What you going to do with all that stuff?" And I said, "I'm going to Orlando World Street National. I'm kicking everybody's ass. That's flat what I." He's like, "You know what you're doing?" I said, "Nope." And he's like, "You need some help?" I said, "Yeah, all I can get." And that's how I met Jeff. And 25 years later, here we are. But, we did that NMCA deal for quite some time, and things progressed faster and faster and faster. And so Tim O'Hare kicks the crap out of us for a season with a brand new McAmis car, Alan Johnson helping, all that. And so that proceeds to saying, "You know what, I got to do something." So what do? I call Jerry Haas and get a new car built. And I'm like, I can have him kicking my ass. And I really think this is how things progress. You just go to the next step. Someone else comes in and shows you the way, and you're like, "Well, if we're going to compete with him, we have to step up."
Yep.
And that's
competition kind of begets more competition, right? And that's where the upgrades come from. Progression. Yep.
Yep. And we run that car. It was a Camaro, Jerry Haas Camaro with Brad Anderson stuff in it. And we ran it for a season and two, and then we kind of went into the Northeast Pro Mod, which is a local deal. A lot of guys from up north come down, and it's a great deal. And we ran that for quite a few years with that Camaro. Jeff actually built a 57 Chevy, and economy kind of got tight in 05. So we started running his car, which the joy, the goodness of having two people. So funding, and he started driving, and he drove for a while, and he's like, "I'll tell you what, you drive my car. I can't do everything." So then I went to driving his car, and we kept racing, and like it's in your blood. You can't just stop. Even though we probably should have financially, we probably should have.
No one ever said drag racing was a good financial decision at any point, right? So
yeah, and it's kind of a long story, but that whole deal, we brought my car back out. I wrecked his car. Chutes got tangled up in the wheelie bars and stuffed it in the guardrail at the finish line. And 2 weeks later, we bring my car back out, qualify number one, and win a race. And so we had two cars, and along the way, and after that, we're racing, and we get to the point, can't keep up with the Joneses. That's kind of how I put it. We couldn't keep up financially, me and him together. And Jeff came to him, and he's like, "Steve, I'm not going to keep funding money to something. We're running a top 5 car." And I didn't really want to say, okay, well, I agreed with him, but I didn't want to. And so anyway, we put the word out to a couple friends of ours, Mike Reynolds. He runs some 10.5 stuff. He's from the Jersey area, and said, hey, man, we might be thinking about selling this car. And lo and behold, 2 races later, Mikey shows up with Gene Pilot. Who would ever thought? I mean, that weekend he ends up purchasing the whole operation, and he's like, I want to drive, but I keep you on board. And the very next race, we win. We win the 50,000, and it's like shooting him up. He's in the arm, and he stays over and makes one little rip in the car, and he stops on the track, and he gets out, and it's funny. It's really funny. It's not, but it is funny. Mr. Pilot made a short squirt, and he gets out of the car on the racetrack. My son goes down, gets in the car. He said, you're a sissy. And we push the car to the end of the track, and Gene comes over. He comes over to us, swear to you. He said, I think I learned my lesson. I'm going to be an owner. Will you drive? That's how this is how this whole Pro Modified deal came along with Gene Pilot. And he purchased our operation. And did I think we'd be together this long? I mean, we never know in this deal, but Gene's he's very prominent about Pro Modified racing. And, you know, and he got involved, and Gene likes staying in the background a lot. He really does. And, you know, he got John Salemi and the G-Force guys involved. And they knew Gene because they had worked on his car. He had a Viper as well and some stuff, but he didn't know that he had bought our stuff. So we're talking to John, getting John to come help and getting a lot of tuning info and stuff from John. And we go out and we win a race. And we're in the winner's circle with John's stuff at the 50,000. And we said, hey, John, this is Gene's stuff. And he's like, he just looking around. He's like, you fuckers. You know, ever since then, this deal's just been a G-Force, Mike Stewicki deal, power plant with, you know, G-Force involved. And it's evolved to another car and then another car. And now everything is a G-Force race car. How's that G-Force? With John Salemi, Evan Salemi, all those guys involved. You know, it's their package. And I really think in Pro Modified, that's where it's gone. You have to get involved with one of these guys that are doing it for a living and get a package.
Yeah. You see that with the success level that you see from some of the really top teams, right? It's an all-inclusive. They you know, you can buy power, but if you can't apply the power, the suspension, you know, all these other things, right? You've got an incomplete package, whereas they know everything that they're putting together. And you can really see that. I think you see that across multiple forms of pro-level motorsports, right? Where it's not, I got that guy's power in this guy's car. It's that, you know, we're either working together, we know that car, we know this package, or it's a complete deal, like with the Slemis that put together G-Force.
Yes, 100%. And I think you have to. I mean, we have to come home and go to work. Jeff and I have to come home and run our businesses and go to work on Monday. And preparing these cars is a full-time job. I mean, front, rear, it's not just the engine. It's not just it's gear ratios, torque converters have to be checked out. You know, underneath the car has to be checked from, one crack in the frame, you know, could you have a D&Q for 2 or 3 races and you don't even know why.
Yeah, everything's changed and you have no idea what you're chasing, but there's something somewhere, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yep. I mean, it could be the smallest, it could be a wiring, anything, but those guys do a great job up there. And Jeff, it took us a little while to let that task go, I guess you could say, because we're so used to doing everything here ourselves. Mm-hmm. But, you know, they do a great job with it, and obviously the results speak for themselves.
And some wicked fast stuff. They've been at the top of the game for a while now, right? Particularly with Melanie, right? With their ride and tuning a lot of rides out there. I know they've had a lot of luck with the RVW world as well. But that's really awesome. Maybe we'll transition a little bit here. And I always love getting the tail of the tape on how the event went down. When we spoke to Spencer a couple years ago, when we talked about, you know, his journey to the final and the win. I mean, it was a week of attrition, of decisions, working on, you know, putting motors back in that were, you know, they were taken out because they were scared on being worn out, right? And barely qualifying to go to the final. Work us into how that week started for you, and just how it transitioned into qualifying, right? As far as how testing go, game plan going in. One of the things we talked about was ideally looking at sessions and going, this is a home run session. Like, we're going to get some sessions where we can maybe move up, and then there's sessions where you got to make a move here, right? This is the one that's going to put us in, or maybe not. Run us through that week as you got there and how that went through.
Yeah, I mean, we get there on Sunday for these World Series races, and it sounds like you're there a week early, but if you're not there and making rips, you're already behind. I really truly think every run you miss that they make, you're already behind. So, John and those guys really preach, you got to be there. We got to make, when the track's hot, we got to make rips. And, we made early in the week, we did pretty well for track conditions, and we made some good rips, and, the car did really, really well. We had a couple small issues, which these cars always have something. Early in the week, the car did great all the way through, and we go out first. I mean, that was all testing. I mean, everything went well. I'm not trying to speed up through the week, but it's a long week. Right into Q1, the car goes out there and goes 63.9 Q1. And it's funny. We go 63.9, and Wes is coming over to high five all my guys, and my guys are like arms crossed and walking back like, damn, that's all it went. Shit, what happened? And Wes is like, what do you guys expect? That's like a top 10 run for the condition. And like, well, we was expecting more because we had ran well early in the week. So it gets you, the guys are down a little bit, but 63.9 the heat was a very good run.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the second qualifier, I think we go something. I think the car double shifted Q2. We was having a little bit of tranny issues once qualifying started, and I think it went 65. And then you go into the night sessions, and at this deal, it's NHRA Pro Stock. If you don't run good in the night sessions, Pro Modified has gotten so tight when those conditions appear. Even with that many, you got 80 cars there, and if you don't make a good lap in those night sessions, you could be a top 10 car during the day and be on the outside of the field looking in at the end of these night sessions.
I was going to say, this way this program has become, it looks a lot like those night sessions are kind of become the home run session, where if you can't lay that good lap down, boy, that next day session, if you don't get a night one the next time, you are behind the eight ball. Like, you got to make a career run just to bump in.
100%, and we go out there, and I think the car went first, second, and didn't go into third in the nights. Both night sessions, the car did not shift into high gear, and it was on pace to run like 61. And we're like, oh my goodness, great. We may not get in. It's hard to say you go 63 and you're thinking you may not make the show.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. So then you go into the next day of qualifying daytime. We go out there and go 63.5 and pick up just a little bit, which is another great run for the sun out session. Very, very great run. But you look back through the field and you're going 63.5, and they interviewed me at the end of the track, and they was all happy, and I'm like, guys, that may not stay, that may not keep us in the show. So it gets, even though you make a good run, you're nervous because you have to make that run in the night session.
It's a little depleting. Like that's a great eliminations day run, right? Yeah. The heat of the day, like you take that all day long, but for what you're trying to do to get into this battle, it's a great pass that still has a depleting feel to it. Yeah.
Yep. So, we go 63.5 and we're looking around, even in the pit. We're like, you really think that's going to hold? And everybody's like, oh, sure, it'll hold. I'm like, I'm not sure. And then they do those two later sessions on that night there. And they give us that fifth qualifier, which is even later. And I had run Mark Mickey in that run. And the whole time you keep pulling up. You're pulling up, and you keep getting bumped down. You're bumped down. So the nerves are up, the hair on your neck is standing up, and it really does. It gets nervous with thinking, I may not be in the show. I made great runs, but we may not be in. So, we go up there and the car does it again. First, second. I don't see Mickey at all at 330. He goes 56 at 250 or whatever the hell that thing is. Rocket, right? That thing goes by the finish line, like almost pulls the doors off. But unbelievable. We go out, it doesn't, we was on pace to run another 61 and it don't shift
Right.
in high gear again. But at that point, we knew we was safe and we ended up 30th. And so you go back and pull the tranny out and the guys are thrashing and just trying to figure out what the hell. We ended up finding out we had a bad regulator or something. But anyway,
Right.
you go up there, you got a chip draw. So you're qualified 30th. So you go up there and you get a chip draw and you don't know who you're getting. You look around, there's champs everywhere, race winners. I mean, there's no one that's easy. I mean,
There's no good draw here, right? Like that
no.
was, I think, one of the things on the broadcast they talked about was like there's 31 more names in this hat, and there ain't one that is
Yep.
any really better than the other, right? There's some I'd love to not see maybe more than others, but there's no
Correct.
one that's going, that's a great first rounder, right?
Yep. Well, when you look around and see, you're kind of looking, well, there ain't nobody. I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm the slow guy. Maybe everybody wants to run me, but they don't. Everyone knows if you make it in that show, you can win that race. I mean, there was probably 30 other cars that could win the race that didn't even qualify.
Yep.
You know, with the quality of that field, which is astonishing in itself.
Which, just for reference, like 360 3.7 was Tommy Franklin at 32. So you're talking about 360 362. Sorry, it's 363.2 was what you got in at 30th. Those runs, like you're 5 thou off that bump. You're not that close far to it, but at the same token, that 61 that you talked about earlier on pace for, I mean, 61.9 doesn't, it barely gets you to 18.
Yes.
Like, that's a stout field top to bottom. We're not even at the halfway point of really the top part, right? So
it's just crazy. Just one little, you missed a tune up or a wrong gear ratio or anything anywhere in that tune up, and you may be on the outside looking in, and just making one right call moves you from 30th up to 14th or 12th.
Yep.
It's that close. It really is. It's just unbelievable. And this chip draw just makes it that much more exciting, I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. And with our car, I was big on, okay, if we can get by, I want the sun to get up. I'd much rather have the sun up in the sky, because I knew we had a really good car with the sun up in the sky. And that first morning session, I'm like, oh, I don't want to pull Mark Mickey or Jason Hare. I really don't want one of those guys, because they're going to go out there and 50 something off for sure. Not that we shouldn't be able to. I mean, we have a good enough stuff we should be able to. But I think we had Hensley, the Lard Machine, first round. And obviously he's won a lot of races and championships in NMCA and quality car. And we both leave. I don't think either one of us was super stellar on the tree. And we go out and go 64, whatnot, and he goes 65-0.
Only 1 thou difference, so it was all won and lost in the tree in that round for you.
Yeah. Yep, correct. So, and I take that as a somewhat of a lucky round for us. I hate to say lucky, but we ran well. But at this stage of the game, I really feel like if you're not 30 or better on the tree, the driver's not doing his job.
Well, that's a funny round too, right? Because like this is a morning session, which is sun up, but still, not heat of the day type stuff. So it's really hard to tell how this is going to go. And that, the tune-ups can still get good tune-ups in there, but front session to the back session could have a little different track on down there for you, right?
Very much so. Very much so. The later in the session, it gets warmer quicker.
Yeah.
Those early guys really go out there and rip off some big numbers pretty quick. So, yeah, it all has to do with timing and some of this deal, a little bit of luck goes a long way. And I kind of say that, and I'll take luck over skill any day. But we ran well. We really did. And then, we go into the second round. We have the Ghetto Sleigh, who I think is a top 5 car in the country. He's got pro line guys over there, and he's been a win waiting to happen. He really has. He's ran good every session. That car is up and down the track. So once again, you go up there, you draw him, and we're very good friends. And we look at each other, and I'm just shaking my head like, now. I mean, everybody's fast, so it doesn't matter who you pull. And that run there, the driver, I did a little better. I think he went out and shook. And, John give us a A to B tune-up. That thing goes out there and rips down through there, which is a big part of this race. You got to have quality. You got to make quality runs. And I really think that's what this car did. We made quality runs every session, and we didn't beat ourselves.
Yep. You made the trip, right, and made sure you were there every time you went down the track, right? Which, when you get to round 3, right, Erica Enders,
Yep.
Herein lies that you made the trip, you made a good pass, right?
Yep.
And, beside you there, whatever took place, right? I mean, didn't make the full trip, right?
Yes.
Back to the consistency.
Yeah, back to consistency. We go up that third round. We do pull chip, and there's Erica, and obviously multiple time world champ, pro stock, probably one of the best drivers in the country. And we all want to. She's in Pro Mod car, which still she's a great driver, and so you got to go up there. I think I was 20 on the tree and 2 or 3 or whatever it was, and she was 007. It's like, holy cow! I had a couple Mountain Dews. I went out there and drank a couple Mountain Dews, trying to help myself. And we put a new button in the car. Like all week, I did that. We put a different Ty Kelly, give a piece of here. Try this button out, and Steve trans brake button. And it helped my consistency. I was putting different visors on. I mean, that was our focus. I mean, I'm backtracking a little bit, but through testing, that was my focus. Was the tree trying to.
That's an interesting part to this, right? Because you don't hear about that much, right? When we talk about testing, anytime we've had any pro conversation, right, it's about how we got the car better, we did this, we tried that, right? And so when to wrap around to the bracket racing side, where the tree is, we're constantly in the evolution trying to figure out how to make it let go 9 or 10 times in a day perfect, right? You're out there testing because this is a game of hundreds, if not thousands. Leave it on that tree, making sure you can hit it the same, but hit it good, is as much of an importance on that week as anything else.
100%. And this Pro Mod deal has gotten so tight, and the tree has become a very large factor in a lot of these races. We go back to Spencer, and he won that deal on a couple hole shots that year, and that's part of it. And it makes everyone, you step up. Either you have to step up or you're going to get smashed. It's just the way this deal's came along, and the quality of drivers, the cars, the tuners have all picked their game up. So if you're going to drive, you don't want to be the weak link. And this whole week, that whole week there, that's what I was focused on with that button and shields and different way I was holding the steering wheel. Every run Jeff Miller's on, he's like, you better be on the damn tree. He's talking to me in the radio, giving me shit, and because we staged the car right, and my lights would, like, if I had a really good race car or a really good opponent, I would step up. But if I didn't feel I needed to, I wouldn't. But the competition level has gotten so great that now you better be good every run. So I'm trying to focus more, even in testing and everything, to be more consistent on the tree. And I have to.
We talk a lot about that. I do we just started a bracket racing 101 course. With some people, and we talk a lot about being intentful with all of our practice runs, our time trials and stuff. Exactly what you just said. And then it is crazy, right? When we discuss the qualifying sheet and you separate 32 cars, I don't know how far up the sheet is that it goes. Like, there's a potential that there are really 45 race cars here that are spread by 500ths, 400ths of a second.
100%.
So, like you said, these tuners, they've all gotten so good, and these race cars are so good that now in Pro Mod, the tree matters so much more, right? The tree was always a big deal in Pro Stock. Pro Mod was always the fastest guy. Kind of, funny car top fuel deal. They're getting better for sure because they're more consistent. But these races prove how good the race cars are and how good the racers themselves are and need to be.
100%. I keep saying it. And the Winter Series, we ran PDRA all year, and then we go into that Winter Series deal. In the last 2 or 3 years, it's just, you have to raise your game. You have to. If not, you're going to be going home. You may have the faster car, and you still may be going to the house. And it's very, it goes back to bracket racing. I really do. I think, a bracket racer makes a great, Pro Mod driver, because I really do think you have to be. Some of these guys run delay boxes now, what transmission setup and type of deal they do. It has a lot to do with how you stage the cars. You're going to put it in light. You're going to put it in deep. You're going to, some guys roll it in too far and then they red light. just like bracket racing. It's the same. You got to put it in light. If I don't put it in light, John's going to be up in my ass.
You just know there's a voice coming at you after you leave, right?
100%. Like you put it in 2 inches too deep. And so,
Yeah.
and you got to know that when you roll in there. Obviously, if we're putting numbers in the box and we roll it in 2 or 3 inches too deep, might need to add a little bit more if we're going to roll it in that deep. And who would ever thought pro modified cars would have delay boxes in them? But they do.
Exactly.
That's where we're going to. So we'll get to round 4, and this is an intriguing picture you got sitting here. So right, you're on this run, right? So we got another one of those stories shaping up like we did a couple years ago, where the lower qualified car, right, is making rounds, taking some fast cars out. You've got Jason Harris, who fantastic racer, right, very successful. Other side of the ladder, you got Stevie Jackson and Mike Bowman. And Mike Bowman, I believe he was the first World Series of Pro Mod winner when it was out in Denver, if I'm not remembering this incorrectly. So this is a group, right? And going into the chip draw, right, you've got 3 other guys here back to there's no good draws. If there wasn't a good one in round 1, there's no better one now, right?
Yeah, we was super excited, and we made that rip against Erica, and we come back up through there, and I thought everything was good, and we're back at the trailer, and John comes in, and he's like, "We've run this motor all week. Get it out. Let's put a new one in." I'm like, "Oh." So then we go into thrash mode, and everybody jumps in, and I'm jerking around some stuff, rocker arms, whatever, getting all that stuff, and Jess comes over. "Hey, they're drawing chips. You got to hurry up." I'm like, "I'm pulling a motor. I don't have time." And all the G-Force guys come over. We had Jeff and my guys, Bubba and Chad, and the whole G-Force crew comes running over. And so I jump on the golf cart and like haul ass up to the chip draw. And they're already calling names out on the stage. I go running up the steps, and like they call my name just as I come up the steps. I just go right out and I reach in and grab a chip. I'm like, I forgot to wash my hands. Wow, I got oil all over my hands from being in the valve covers and stuff. And I pulled a number. It was only number 1s and 2s because obviously there's 4 cars left. And I just looked at Jason, and he had this look, and I'm like, he looks like he looked like he was going to walk as soon as they called the name up. And obviously me and Jason go back all season back to the video stuff. We went back and forth a little bit last year in PDRA. I got him on a hole shot early in the season. They were struggling a little bit. We go out and get him, and a couple races later, we do a little video, and from there, he comes out and blackens my eyes up pretty good, and he goes on to win the championship. So we got him in the semis, and wow, you got to go up there knowing we got a new bullet in, and I know John's not going to back it down and try to give me a good car, and I drink another Mountain Dew, and because I know Jason's that car is probably one of the best cars in the country and driver combination. So you go up there, and I think he broke the blower or something. We make another quality run.
Yep.
Don't like
a
to
great
win.
run. Yeah.
And you don't like to win that way, but he broke a blower, or so I'm not sure. Something broke on the car. Might probably something small, but hey, we get to win, and I'm like, gosh, what do we win? We got to run Stevie in the final. But you're in the finals of the World Series, so it doesn't matter who's over there.
Well, in an overall sense, right? Like you're 363.8, right? Stevie's 363.2. Like this is a big move putting the motor in round 4, right? Like this is a cataclysmically large change, and you're only 6 thou behind. And based on the lights in the semis, like you're ahead, right? I mean, this is facing up to be a great round where there isn't really a big disadvantage here per se, right?
Yep. And it was, and on that run, we go out and we nip a couple pistons because we're getting after it. I mean, you can't back the tune-up down no matter who's up there because everyone's going to do it. So we come back into another thrash, cylinder head off and a couple pistons in. I think Stevie had some problems too because he needed a little time just like we did, and we got together, and nobody's going to go up there without the other. So, you roll up there for the final, knowing you got Stevie Jackson, obviously one of the big guys on the internet and great racer. He runs everything. If it has wheels on it, that man drives it, and I give him credit, But we go up there for the finals, and wow, you roll up there and you got nerves. I'm not gonna lie. If you don't have nerves rolling up there for the World Series final, it's something wrong with you.
Check the pulse. You probably dead, right? Like,
Yeah, and you get up there, and Wes has he's got everyone in the stands standing up. They got their lights on their phones. I mean, I'm sitting in the burnout box looking around and going, wow, this is awesome right here. And the hair standing up on your neck with everything going on. He's got the music jamming. You're sitting in the car, but once that thing starts up, you kind of block all that out. Once that you start up that monster in front of that thing with the blower on it, and when it fires up, you better not be looking around too much. And
you're in the office. It's business time.
yeah, you do the burnout and you back up, and yeah, everyone's looking. And I know Stevie's over there, and even during eliminations, every round, I mean, I was taking my time rolling in, making sure I'm putting it in light, and it kind of looked like we was all taking our time, really staging up. Erica, we both took our time rolling in. I think they thought we was kind of playing game, but I think we both just putting them in really, really light. Mm-hmm. And we did the same with Stevie. It ain't that I was waiting. I'm just rolling. I'm trying to roll it in light because I figure I'm hopped up and I better put as light as I can because I'm going to be 00 on the tree or something.
You don't need to take a chunk and find out that it was, a chunk too much, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you come off the button, the tree comes down, you come off the button, and I look over at 60 foot and Stevie's out a bumper room. I'm like, shit, I just lost the World Series on a hole shot. I know I did because I knew he was out on me, and we made it up. And at the 330, it was like, I think it was 0012, the same as the finish line was at the 330 mark if you did the increments. And I'm looking over, and I don't know if I could push the throttle down any harder. I'm just going, please make it to the other end. Please make it to the other end. I knew it was going to be close. And right as we went through the lights, the wind light comes up, and I'm like, wow, we just really won the World Series of Pro Mod. And get to the other end, and Courtney's down there. Stevie had a big bang. He blowed his up stuff pretty good. And I actually jumped out of the car. Of course, I wanted to go shake his hand, and I was super excited. I probably could have jumped out the windshield probably because I was so excited. But his stuff blowed up really well, and he couldn't even get the doors open. So I'm kind of dancing around, not knowing what to do to try to shake his hand, or so I run over and do an interview with Courtney, and he gets out and all that, and that was all cool. But the biggest thing of this race, to be honest with you, after we won this race, we go to tech, and they do their deal all through tech, and that takes a little time there. And like 20 minutes later, after tech, we rolling up the stage and headed up to the winner's circle, and absolutely unbelievable the amount of people, race teams that just waiting for us to come up through there, coming out and giving us hugs and high fives. I mean, every team, Bubba Green's team, Scotty Cannon, the Totoro group, Scott Palmer with the big wreck. I mean, he's out there with tears in his eyes, giving me a big hug and stuff. I mean, stuff that you don't see on the cameras.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I guess not being expected to win. Not that we didn't go there thinking we couldn't win. I mean, we would never go up thinking we couldn't win. But
you just know the gigantics you're up against here, right? Like, this is, the best of the best in the world all come together. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just, it was great. We get up, and then the winner's circle, that was unbelievable. That's probably the biggest winner's circle I've been in a few, but nothing like that. That winner's circle was absolutely unbelievable. Just with the money flying, the champagne, the just all the vibes. We had a couple beers. We did the Stone Cold thing with a couple beers, and just I don't know. We was living in the moment.
Yeah. And that's the, big moment like that. That's the whole point, right? Like, that's the accomplishment that you've gotten to do what you did to get there. I mean, that's the moment to just let loose. Actually, it was Brandon that filled me in on the Stone Cold thing, right? I was like, the only thing that would have made this better is it happened on 316 or something, right? So,
yep. I figured I pulled that off, and we was, the weird thing, we was on the phone. I think there was 3 or 4 people on the phone trying to get Gene because he couldn't attend this race, who owns our operation and is the whole part of it. He couldn't be there, so we're all on the phones trying to get him on FaceTime and get him in the winner's circle and stuff. And this dude's at home doing a burnout all the way down his street. He wasn't even worried about FaceTime. He was so happy he's doing a burnout all the way down his street. That's just how Gene is. That was the only thing would have made it better if Gene was there, for sure.
I love the winner circle part, right? That's a guy like Wes Buck and the whole team, and I know the whole Drag Illustrated crew, right? It's a massive team that puts this all together. And Wes hypes this thing up like crazy, but all the work that every one of those people do, between Drag Illustrated, between the Flow team and everybody else, the Bradenton staff, they all work that hard for that exact moment, right? Whoever's in there, that you win that race and all the work and all the effort they put in and everything they've done, that means something, right? And that is we talk a lot about, like, with bracket racing, right? We have like all the life-changing money, right? I understand that, 150 grand, right? That's massive pro mod racing, right? But you guys are pretty deep into this deal, right? There's a lot of coin that's put into all this stuff to get to that point, to get to that winner circle. It's not all about the money, right? It's the prestige. It's what it means for your career, what it means for you as a racer. So, like, to have that all kind of culminate in that way, and you want that, like, as a guy like myself sitting here watching, I'm sure Andrew feels the same. And as a competitor, you want to be that guy, but everybody sees that, and you're like, yeah, man, like, soak that in, enjoy that for everything that it is. Because once people start taking that for granted, then it loses the luster, right?
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And Wes and Victor, them guys live, eat, and sleep these Winter Series races, and put a lot of they put, just like with us winning. I get so worked up because I get excited when I talk about it, but they put my face out there, and then Jess is out there doing it, and you get so much exposure, and it's not just here; it's worldwide. What they do with all the people, whether it's Canada or Australia, Great Britain, we had people from everywhere there in our pit, just kept coming in as we was winning rounds. All these people coming in, all these different countries, which is just absolutely amazing in itself. And then they just plaster, you win this race, and there was been 6 or 8 of them, and so your name's up on Mount Rushmore, and you can't just win this race. You got to go out now, and hopefully we can carry some momentum into the PDRA season and keep the success going.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Sorry.
Just sorry to interrupt you, Andrew. I don't know. Spencer won the World Series Pro Mod race 2 years ago, and now he's driving a Nitro funny car. So do you think, like, do you think you're headed up that route, or? I
don't know if I'll ever drive a Nitro funny car. Pro Mods is what I love. That big supercharger out there, and a door car that looks like a race car.
Yep.
That's what I love. I do. And how much longer do I do it? I don't know. I've been doing it a very, very long time. Jeff Miller and myself been doing this since 2000 as far as supercharged stuff, and he did it before that. And we're very fortunate to have Gene Pilot on board and letting us do it at the level that we're doing it at. And we got the Slimmy crew involved, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and a lot of time. Even with John and them prepping our car and stuff, it's still a lot of time away from work. And would I love to go nitro racing? Sure, who wouldn't want to drive one of them animals? I don't know if that's I just don't know if that's for me. I don't know if that's for me.
Yeah, I hear you. What were you gonna say before I interrupt you, Andrew?
I was just going to roll into as you transition to the PDRA season. Like, it starts a couple weeks from now. I'm just losing track of my dates here a little bit.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I was thinking 3, but 2. I'm losing track of March here fast. So as you transition here, like, you've got some momentum on your side. You've got a great crew, and as you've talked about, you've got a big crew, right? It's a lot of work on top of it. I mean, this isn't just to drop the car off, you pilot, or parachute your way in, grab the car and go racing. Like, this is a whole bunch of work for everyone. You're looking to run the whole PDRA tour is kind of my assumption on this. What are you doing here to get ready for this? You've certainly done a great job in the Winter Series. You did a great job World Series, Pro Mod. you know where the field stands. I mean, usually the World Series is a great indication of who's got their stuff together as we start the PDRA season. What are you guys doing to get ready to step up the game to try to hang with a very elite group? I mean, there's a lot of great racers who go to the World Series of Pro Mod and then move back over to PDRA, and that's where they're running the rest of the year. What do you guys got in hand to try to take this and keep moving forward and getting faster?
Well, we're going to go there. It's a different rules package. The Winter Series has a little different rules package, and we went down there and tried to take advantage of what they allow and what they don't allow. And PDRA doesn't have some of those options, so we put it back in PDRA trim. So, it's pretty important for us to go down there and on Wednesday and get some laps in.
Mhm.
Wednesday, Thursday, there's 2 days of testing at the first race. So we're going to take, as long as it doesn't rain, we're going to take full advantage of that with John and Stewicki up there. They've put the car back to that configuration, and I'm sure they found some power and some little tricks over the winter that John always has something up his sleeve or something he's working on to make things better. Because if they don't, you're gonna fall behind. And
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
they're always implementing new stuff all the time, whether it's winter time. There's really no off season, so it's just year round. When something comes around and gets available, John will put it in either our car or their car, and they'll go out there and make a few rips on it and see what's better. That's the good thing, having a couple cars in the camp to be able to try new things and
That team concept really kicks in now, right? Where if we try something in this car and find something now, if you're on the team, everyone now gets the same access to this, widget or whatever the setup, right? Because it's across the board.
And Gene Pilot and John and them guys, they have Eddie Whalen, and those guys preach that. And down there at the World Series, we blew up, and even Eddie, their guy, he's in there, his hands dirty, he's throwing stuff around, and Paulo's over there. I mean, the whole G-Force guys just came right over and made things pretty smooth transition with motors and stuff. And that's what they preach as far as Gene and Eddie and John. It's a team concept and make it work.
We've talked a lot over many different episodes here, right? That it's an individual sport, right? It's you in the car wheeling down the track, but to get to that point and be good takes a real team, right? To get you to that line and get good equipment and get fast equipment, right? And that's sometimes the one thing. So it's this forgotten sport, but is oftentimes not thought about as much as it's a big group, and there are some teams that have had great equipment and never gelled well, and there's teams that have had good equipment who've gelled fantastic and have been great results from it, right? So it's all about that team effort.
We do, and we have a great group. We're going into the PDRA season coming up, and these guys, my son's a big part of what we do. He's been on board since he was, 10 or 12 years old. He's lived, eat, and sleep it, but you don't ever hear his name because he don't want his name. He just, he's underneath the car. He's on top of the car. He wants it. If John's in there looking at the computer, he's standing in there beside of him looking. He won't say anything. He might, hey man, what about that 5 pounds or something like that? And him and John have really gotten closer as far as he listens to small suggestions. Tyler he don't say a lot. He just there. And then Jeff Miller's been with me for 25 years. I say it again, but I can't believe he's even been here this long. It's crazy that we've been friends that long, best friends, and race like we have. And Chad Wright, who's John and them's guy, came on board in the last year or so, and he does a great job. And you can never forget Jess, who does all our videos and puts us on the map. So, and then my wife and Jeff's wife come along. So we show up with a very large group, top to bottom. It takes us all to do this. And even going to this PDRA race, first race, 2 weeks, just like we talked, there's a lot of work that people don't see behind the scenes that goes on. It's not just prepping the car. John and them's been taking care of all that stuff and took a big load off those, but we still, your motorhome has problems. Your tractor and trailer has problems. You got to pack it. Like Gene's had the rig at his place for all winter. We've been racing out of my rig. So this coming weekend, that rig's coming here. I've got to empty Me and Jeff's got to empty one whole trailer and pack the other trailer and hope you don't forget anything or misplace anything. And then, you know, you got food, you got drinks, a lot of things that people don't see as far as the racing side of things, I guess you could say that goes along with this deal. You know, we're gone for damn near a week. So you get down there, if you're not prepared and don't have your stuff, it gets
It makes a difference, right?
yeah. And things break even on your motorhome. It's not just the race car. Your motorhomes and stuff break down. Generator, you know, you get there and your generator don't work, or I mean, you guys see it, I'm sure, at the bracket. I mean, it happens.
I've had a generator blow up on a Saturday morning of a long race weekend, and that throws a kink into your whole operation pretty fast, right? So
yeah, you know, and then we come like this. We come in. We're going to go from the big World Series win, prepping the car, prepping everything, switching everything, trucks and trailers. You know, we're going to roll into Galat and test for a couple of days and hope everything goes well and hope the momentum carries right on through the season. You know, that's our hope. You know, with all the hard work and the momentum, hopefully the momentum carries.
That's all you can ask for, right?
Yes, 100%.
Steve, I know that, you know, well, we're getting close to that time. I know you have some commitments for after this, so we'll start to wrap it up. I'd love to hang out and just keep talking racing.
Sure.
It's a blast, right? We have a lot of fun. I know you've talked a lot about the people that help you, the people that are in your group. Before we did get off, I want to, you know, like I said, I'm sure a lot of the names we've already hit, but I want to give you one last chance kind of before we did leave here. Thank whoever you wanted, include all the people that help you out and everybody that keeps this thing rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to start off with Jeff Miller. Obviously, he's been with me forever, and I ain't ever had anyone pull me into beams but him, ever. And I don't know what I would do if someone else pulled me into beams. I really don't. He's just been there that long, him and his wife, and we've all become very, very good friends. So that's first and foremost. And then the rest of my crew is Tyler King, my son, Bubba. We call him Bubba, and he's a big part, but never gets his name mentioned. Don't want his name mentioned, really. That's how he kind of rolls. And Chad Wright's come on board, you know, and done a phenomenal job. And then, you know, we got Jess. He does all the PR work for us and all the videos and makes me look good even sometimes when I don't look good. So, and then, you know, you got to go right into the G-Force guys, John Salemi, Evan Salemi, Jim Salemi, all those guys up there who obviously maintenance is his car. They do it all and give us great stuff to work with. Mike Stawicki, he gives us the power. The quick drive guys, you know, we're always working with those guys to come up with better products and stuff. My mind is going 100 miles a minute here. You know, the shock, you know, kinetic shocks, those guys give us great products. And I can just go on down the list. I'm sure I'm not
for sure.
You know, fuel tech. We have all kinds of stuff on board with the Noonan guys on the engines, you know. Gosh, my mind.
Loads of people, right? It takes a village, I guess. You know,
it does, and I get caught up trying to, because I don't want to leave anyone out. So you get caught up not wanting to leave people out. But those guys right there are the main guys as far as my guys that help on the car, and John and them up there who do a great job, and we formed a great bond with up there. And hopefully this season everything continues to work just as it is.
That's it, man. Like I said, that's all you can ask for. Well, I would wish you the best luck, right? I hope that it does roll. I love to see it, right? I love to see when a guy comes on, gets a big win, and then has, you know, just rolls on through. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of mentality change for you, right? I guess when you walk in, not a whole lot, you know, but you walk in and you're going to carry, there's a different level now when you mention Steve King in Pro Mod racing. So that's going to be really cool to see how that works out for you and PMRA when you come back to the Winter Series next year and every other event that you do hit. So I'm looking forward to seeing all that.
Yeah, us too. You know, we're used to kind of flying. I keep saying under the radar a little bit, but I don't think so much more. I think we'll have a big bullseye on our back now. Everybody's going to blast our ass. You know,
that's right. Yeah, no, for sure. But all right, Steve. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate all your time. Love hanging out, talking racing. Doesn't matter, you know, who it is, what we're driving, or what events we're going to. You know, race car drivers are all the same.
I appreciate it, guys, for having me. And hey, I forgot the big person I forgot to tell about, Mr.
Yeah.
Gene Pilot. Without that man, we don't race. And he loves Pro Modified so much. You can't believe how excited he is about this PDRA race. It's unbelievable. After winning that World Series race, he's like he's on cloud 9 right now. So I don't know how in the hell I forgot him. That's crazy. I can't.
Yeah. All right, then I get a question about that. How many after Gene misses the World Series Pro Mod? How many more of these big races does he miss?
You know what? I hope he doesn't miss any. I hope.
Yeah.
But you know, he has a business to run, and you know, you never know what comes up personally, and sometimes that overruns what he does. But I'm sure he's really biting the bullet that he wasn't there. I mean, the phone calls to him. His phone got. We called him a lot that night. A lot.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. But all right, Steve, thanks again. Really appreciate your time and hanging out. We had a lot of fun. Great conversation, and good luck with everything in 2025.
Hey, thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate all of it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
All
Have
right.
a good one, Steve.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was great, Andrew. It's the same as every guest we have, right? I'd love to just do this, I don't know, and just keep hanging out. You know, time racing. I'd love to be there. Go check out Steve's shop or hang out with him at the racetrack or something else. You know, it doesn't matter where you're from or what you do, what type of racing you do. Then it's all the same. We're all doing that.
Yeah, we're doing it in different classes with different equipment, but at the end of the day, the highs, the lows, the struggles, and the achievements, right? Like, are all the same. It's just all on different levels, different scales, or different planes. So, love talking to them. Super, take the page out of me. We were joking off before the show, right? That the World Series of Pro Mod is such a huge event now, right? Just about everyone I could think of on my news feed that was a racer from Canada is down there, whether they're looking to try to get into something, racing down there. We've had some people down there running in other classes, like Joe Moreau went down and was running there, and a few others. The folks just go down and planning vacations around it, right? It's an international race for some of the best on the planet, and great to see Steve pick up the W. Love seeing those stories. I don't want to call it a Cinderella story because, as I said, like they went there expecting to win, and 80 other cars went there expecting to win. But to do it from the 30th spot, to do it, and the manner they did, like great story. Just awesome to be able to get them on and walk us through it.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. And then I kind of, I wasn't sure what to expect kind of before, right? So we never talked to Steve before, 10 minutes before we went went live with him. But I don't know, it's so cool. And then the experiences and how genuine he is, to see what that felt like in the winner's circle, right? And that's the coolest part for me, man. And cool for anybody who does it, but so cool for a dude that maybe we highlighted it before, like maybe might have been the underdog in some people's eyes, not in their own, because you don't show up thinking that you're the underdog, but to look that come out, and then all the winners essentially to this point have been, they're not no-name guys by any means, but like not the higher profile dudes, but it does change their life and the trajectory of their career.
No question, right? And I think that's one of the cool things about this. I mean, in like many classes, there's that percentage, that top group that you're just going to say is written in as a potential favorite, right? You go down your list of who you bet on here. The amazing thing about this deal, and as you said, it's sometimes the dark horses, if you will, right, that have come out. Mike Bowman being one back in the first one where he wins, a huge race and catapults his career from Pro Modified champion to Street Outlaws TV star, right? And then you see Spencer with the win, right, going from a fantastic racer, Canadian champion, not as much on the radar as in the US as he has been in Canada, wins the World Series of Pro Mod, and a couple years later he's wheeling a nitro funny car, right? Like it's elevated their career. So to watch what Steve was able to do and just see what they can now take that momentum into the PDRA, right, and go with that. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch for them, and just a great story.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, Andrew, we got anything else exciting going on? Not a whole lot on my end. Hopefully we start working on, or I just start working on race cars more here soon. That's my own fault, but
It's only so many hours in the day. Oh, we got a ton of stuff going here. If it's not the dyno, I got dynos lined up. We got personal shout out to Eric Davis. Eric Davis shocks, got all that stuff set up for my cars coming inbound. Got new shocks on 3 out of the 4 corners on the 2 whips that I tend to run around with. Looking forward to trying them out. So got a team of guys on my end, aka Dad and my buddy Pete, heading to the shop to go start working on some cars while I'm back at the shop trying to figure out how to finance all this. So that's the exciting part.
Yeah. No, that's all good. Yeah, that's what I got. I don't think there's any other big races this weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I feel bad about that. I've been living so moment to moment on all this. I haven't looked further ahead than tomorrow morning. So
yeah.
I'm not
the NHRA.
sure.
There's an NHRA race in Pomona. Is that next weekend?
Ooh, that might be.
NHRA before the next show. I'm sure there's an NHRA race in Pomona. We'll have the PDRA race. I don't know about any big bracket races yet, but we are getting closer.
March 28th is Friday for qualifying / Mission Foods. Here I am trying to find stuff live on the air, and my reading capabilities have gone away. But yes, I believe actually the Winter Nationals this week, because I saw the Ron Capps explosion, Napa car, Napa being my company of choice. Saw them packing the backup car into a small trailer to make a long trek from Brownsburg, Indiana to Pomona, California. So going to suggest that's this next weekend. So Dave Gunn, actually, Galat, I believe there's a big money race coming up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's hope that I haven't seen any confirmation to see if Dave's coming back out or if last year really was the retirement year. We'll see.
Boy, there we go.
We can't end the show until we get a response from Dave.
Well, we could cliffhanger this one, right? In 2 weeks we're back,
Good.
right?
We find out
That's the thing, right?
Dave Top Gun comes back for 2025 after a monster 2024.
Oh, yeah. What an awesome year for him there. So, maybe we'll cliffhanger this one, right?
And that's
to be continued. Same bat time, same bat station in 2 weeks.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for hanging out. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I know I did. Really cool hanging out with Steve King. Special thanks to Ogilvy's Auto and Fleet Service helping this the broadcast stay going. Everything like that.
FTI converters from Ogilvy's. Got one of them coming for one of my truck pulling customers.
We got a lot of them still coming. We brought a lot home from Florida, and then now we still have more. Dave says we'll see. So the cliffhanger's done, but it's still a cliffhanger though.
That's how I'll roll with the cliffhanger.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you all very much. We will see you 2 weeks. We'll go.
We'll see you then.
We started the business over 35 years ago. A lot has changed over the years, but one thing still remains the same.
Our passion for fixing cars. With a team of over 12 men and women, they work day in and day out to provide us the best quality service possible.
From light and heavy duty vehicle repairs and maintenance work,
diagnostics and racing transmissions,
performance parts and Jeep upgrades,
automotive detailing,
used car sales,
and towing through our sister company, AC Towing.
Our team has the knowledge and understanding to solve all your vehicle needs while putting your mind at ease.
Experience the Ogilvy difference.
It's worth the drive.